Now, before we learn how to create and modify our reports, I think it's a good idea that I show you a report so you can see what it looks like and know what to expect. And over here I've got my report. It's the overall report. And when it comes to designing forms and reports, now we already covered how to design a form in the design view. You're going to see a lot of similarities when it comes to designing reports. So if you can design one, you can pretty much design the other, or it shouldn't be too difficult to navigate around. And we'll cover that in a later training video, but for right now, if you recall in the very first training video, forms and reports can either be based upon tables indirectly through the queries, because queries are based upon tables, or directly upon the table themselves. Not tables, because if you're going to base the report or form upon two or more tables that are related, it has to go through a query. If it's just one table, then just go ahead and base it directly upon that table. Okay, so this report I based upon the inventory query. What's the inventory query based upon? Well, let me double click and open it up in the datasheet view. If you right click on the tab and go to the design view, it's all right there. It's based upon 4 tables. All 4 tables are related. I've added all the fields that I wanted to view in the query down below in the grid. Now all the fields down here that I want to view in the datasheet view that this report is based upon is viewable. The report doesn't look up here the tables that are available, all that could be seen, just what I added down below that needs to be seen. Let me go ahead and close out of that, and let's open up our report. Now when I open it up, by default it opens up in the report view, and we'll talk about the different views in just a second here, but let's take a look at this report. Up at the top we've got the title of the report, Department Inventory, and I'll show you how you can go ahead and add titles to your reports. And then over to the right we have the current date. That means that any time I open up this report and I print it off, it's going to have today's date. So next Tuesday the 16th, if I open it up then, it'll be August 16th. How do I do that? Well, I inserted the function here. It's the now function, and you can learn all about functions in my Excel 2010 training videos there. Okay, then down below, I've got the employees here grouped by the department. So for the Human Resource Department, we've got all the employees grouped that work in that department, and then we've got the group for the maintenance, the sales, and so on. And then within each group, like the IT department, we've got it grouped by employee. In other words, we've got the employee's first name, last name, and then the computers that are assigned to each employee, the barcode or ASIC tag, the manufacturer of that computer, the date we received it, the purchase price, and then amortized. Now, I don't recall seeing amortized in the inventory query, so how come it's being pulled up in here? I just added the text box field and entered in a formula that took the purchase price field and divided it by the number 3. That's how I got my amortized devaluation of my computer over 3 years. So every year it loses 1/3 of its value. And then when I scroll all the way down to the bottom, it says this is page 1 of 1. Well, if I change this to the print preview, because what you see in the print preview is what you get, what actually prints off, it'll have more pages than just page 1 of 1 here. The report view is just a simple view to look at when it comes to viewing the results of your designing of your report here. And then before you print it off, go to the print preview. There are a couple ways we can go to the print preview. I can either come up here and right click on the tab and go to print preview, or if I right click in a blank area, there's print preview. I'm not sure if I can right click, well, in any area, almost any area on the report. There's the data field, and when I right click on the label for that data field, I can go to print preview. So just know where you're right clicking. Let me click off in a blank area. Of course, you can come up here on the home tab to the views group, click on the drop down arrow, there's print preview, or you can come down here in the lower right hand corner. I mean, if you're already down there, you can just hover over any one of those 4 there, and there's the second icon, print preview. Click on it and boom. What you see in the print preview is what's going to print off. And you'll notice a couple of things. First of all, I've got my pointer that turned into a magnifying glass that when I click on it, it zooms out. When I click on it again, it zooms in. And then how many pages do we have? Let me click to zoom in. It says page 1 of 3. How do we go to the next page? Well, there's our record navigation bar. Click on next page, page 2, page 3, and that's it. Click on it to zoom out, and boy, it goes right to the bottom here. And in fact, if you look up at the top, we do have what I would call an issue here where we've got the computer separated from the employee. I mean, if we go to the next page to the bottom, we can go ahead and see that the employee, that computer belongs to George Bond. In any case, let me go over the other 2 views real quick. So when I want to change my view, I can go ahead and right click, and let's go to the layout view. The layout view looks a lot like the report view, except here, when you click on either a text field or label, it selects all the labels. So I can hover over the label and click and drag it, and it moves all the labels over. which means like I can rearrange this and move it over here, and then click and drag and move that over there, rearrange it so I can have the manufacturer first and then the date received second, and then of course move their corresponding. Let me hover over the text box fields down below, the data fields, and move those as well. I'm going to hit undo a couple of times because, wow, it's going to be messy and take me a little bit of time to rearrange that, but you get the idea. And we'll cover a little bit more about how to work in the layout view later on. So in the layout view, you can actually see all the records that are there and move them accordingly, where in the design view, let me see if I can go ahead and right click here and go to the design view. They don't show you all the records, they just show you the labels and their corresponding text box fields or the data fields. That you can just move those around without having to see all the records being moved with that field. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.